Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Smite Pro League game number 2, where we're going to be watching Cognitive Red and Snipe go head-to-head here. And the winner of this game will tie Cognitive Prime for first place.
And the other one we shot down in the standings. Of course, we do have a very interesting interaction here. As I think it's there he goes. Sounds like my mic was have a little issue there. So of course, it's all three teams were tied for first place going into this 3-1. Cog and Prime takes their win last match, and they will go up to first place. Now it's going to be Cog Red and Snipe, who are both now tied for second place. One goes up and ties Cog Prime, and the other one goes way down at 1 and 4.
Yeah,
or 3 and 2.
3 and 2, that's right. And we'll see if the Cognitive teams can reign supreme over North America as they did at the end of the qualifying season. We should be getting the game here any second, guys. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready for another hour-long game. I just can't wait.
This one should be 65 minutes.
Ooh, can we just continue?
That'd be
can we just
great.
continue on a roll?
Yeah, that'd be great. 70 would be even be the
Can
best
we go?
thing ever.
We can go 70.
Well,
I want a game so long that I end up speaking Korean.
yeah. I just want to like basically descend into gutturals and just be like, oh,
Of course, we're referring to a very famous video in which Korean Dota commentators are pleading with the teams, the Chinese teams.
They fought! They fought!
Like a 2-hour game where they have 40,000 gold and multiple. Well, enough of that talk, as we are on the way of picking a ban. And Cognitive Red going to go with their first ban onto Sir Crit.
Sir Crit going to be banned out here. Giannis in response. You can't give that to Divios. Then they go back over here, and it looks like they're going to be banning out that weakened Nemesis.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So
right?
well with that
ban the
character.
Nemesis, forcing them to ban Chun Kui.
John Quay, maybe, if they want to go for him. We do know Divios does play a lot of solo lane characters. Would leave a lot of characters on the board as well. Mercury. So, let's talk Mercury.
Okay.
Is Cog Red going to go for that Hunter ADC Mercury, which didn't do very well at all last night?
Oh, I doubt that they will, considering it didn't work out very well for Snoopy, as you
Did they
mentioned.
skip a ban? No, they
No, they did not skip a ban. They banned out Ra. And now Cognitive Red with their first pick. Which manner of damage dealing
Just give it
actually
to
support,
Ionic.
are they going to draft it? It's going to be Onyx Geb, and he has been the best Geb in the world for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, Ionic plays incredibly well with Gab. I mean, last night was 0-2 and 24, even though his team lost. Like, it's ridiculous how well he plays that character. Snipe now looking to pick up their first two characters. Aphrodite's available here to see if Kikirana wants to go and grab that one up. In Continental, I imagine would be going for Athena, but that would be the last pick before the banning phase.
Divios' Aphrodite was extremely strong on the front
was.
lines, and they did go for that impossible to push into strategy last time. We'll see what they do go for here on the way of Snipe, and it's going to be a Zhang Kui. You can't see him, but
take
you can
Thor
see him. There
away
he
from
is.
Gars.
And Thor, take it away from Gars. Don't ban it, gotta pick it. And a change of kind of pace for Cognitive Red over the last.
The more you know.
It's always used to be a first pick Thor if available, but now it's actually transitioned to a first pick Geb for Ionic. So it just goes to show you kind of how they value these players, or maybe indicates that Gars has widened his god pool significantly.
He's going to go Hoonbots this game. He's got to go Hoonbots. I mean, Serket's gone. Nemesis is gone. Thor's gone. Hoonbots is his next best character. I imagine you just go for Hoonbots.
Well, they banned
here,
Serket
but we'll
Nemesis.
See. Well, that's right. They banned Nemesis, and that's more towards Weekend. Serket, I mean, those are two characters that Gars doesn't play as much. Nemesis definitely works, but of course, Weekend is incredibly good at the Nemesis play. Algong's going to be locked in here for Cognitive Red and going to the boost. Last night, he went 11-2 with Algong, and his team lost. I mean, he's scary.
He's a great pick for this week, definitely.
He's scary.
Snipe going to round out here. Notably, Nua still available and unbanned, as is Mercury. They're going to take the look at the Nua. They're considering it.
Nua?
They're still considering it.
Nua or nah?
Or nah.
Or nah.
Nua?
Nah?
Will you pick her?
Nua. Select.
7 seconds remaining.
Lock.
5,
4, 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3.
Nua.
Locked in. Nua. All right. We got it. Across the way. The bans are going to come out here. Will they ban Athena? Will they ban a jungler? They can ban Hoonbots on the side of Snipe. I think that'd be a great ban, actually. Shutting down the potential of Gars. We know that the key to success, right, is shutting down Gars early and keeping Snoopy from scaling.
This is interesting. Yeah, I mean, so
it's got to be Hoonbots.
The core is done here for Cog Red, right? Like, they have their tank, their mid laner, and their hunter. So there's a lot of good jungle picks. Jungle, one of probably the broadest roles available, and solo they have some good options as well, including the Mercury still being available for that. Hunbots and Rom going to be your final bans here. But, you know, I would expect to see that the Chunks are going to pick up probably Uller here. He's been the popular pick. Maybe a Neath to match with that Thor that's been very, very successful doing it that way as well. Actually, Thor, Neath, and Nuwa could turn into an extremely deadly team fight through the laning phase. I mean, it's just such gank potential.
Well, we'll see what they decide to go with. I mean, it looks like they're going to be banning out Rom on the side of Cognitive Red. I don't know why they're going to go there, so that's going to be it. We do see Jerby making the selection here for Snipe. He's got 15 seconds to do it. With that Hunbot's banned away, they're basically targeting Gars with how many bans and picks have gone so far. Thor, Nemesis, and Hunbot's all gone. Those are all of Gars' best characters, so that's going to go down the way. They might be going for Potsby. It's interesting. They went for an Ul pick here, but there's already an Apollo on the side of Cog Red. I guess they don't really have any other value picks.
Yeah, so for Cog Red here, they have a lot of CC right now already, so they don't necessarily need to pick up more of it in the solo lane. I wouldn't be surprised to see Aphrodite come out here, and between Geb and Aphrodite, and then go for a Loki in the jungle. That would be my guess what we're going to see as their next two picks, Aphrodite, Loki.
Well, looking at last night's performance, right, realistically, I am a firm believer that if Snoopy was running Apollo last night, they would have won very easily. I mean, that's going to be the pick there. But we'll see how that works out. They're going to... Okay, it's a Mercury, so I guess they're going to be running... Okay, it's an Osiris. Mercury solo, Osiris jungle, Apollo Geb, and Al Guang.
Yeah. Mercury going to be soloing Osiris in the jungle, so a lot of physical damage carry potential now coming out. Expecting maybe some sustain from this team, but they're going to be relying on Geb all in the front line. And probably going to be seeing a similar style of Osiris tanky build here. That utility, Hide of the Urchin, Frostman Hammer, Witchblade kind of build. Maybe a little bit more damage, just more suiting Cog Red style. Final pick, moments away here from Snipe. They got to pick up their tank, and it's going to be either the Emir or the Bacchus most likely.
But
or the Athena, who was not
Athena
banned,
is still available. Why would you go for Bacchus? Well, they're going to knock up Mercury, right? And the Belch helps a lot. The ultimate actually makes Mercury and Apollo very difficult to land. Actually, they have a lot of in-handers on the side of Cog Reds. This makes sense, right? The drunk state is going to make Mercury, Osiris, and Apollo have a very difficult time landing those in-hand shots. And so Bacchus makes a lot of sense here. Now, Athena would also make the same effect work, but Athena's influence in the fight sometimes does get overshadowed by Bacchus's just because Athena's get the taunt, and then after the taunt, what do you have?
Right, yeah, you have a dash and you have a shield wall, but it's not very good at peeling there. Jeremy will get his Nuwa for the third time in the Pro League, I believe. This is his third time playing Nuwa, and has been one of the more successful mid laners with Nuwa. Just feels pretty consistent. We'll see if we can bring Thor out of the jungle. Thor definitely not a... He's not a super hard god to play for most pro-level junglers, just because he's an old god. He's always been very popular and always been at a high level in the meta, or at least in the flavor of the month style of strategies. So everyone kind of has their Thor polished at all times. So even though we haven't seen it on a weekend, I imagine he'll do quite well with it. Kiki on Zhonghui we've seen be pretty effective, and kind of comes down to what can Divios do with Diviosiris in the soul lane, which is what I expect that to go to. I mean, they actually are going to put Mercury in the jungle and Osiris in the solo lane here.
Yep, as I would imagine there. So it's going to be actually the reverse of what I imagined, but still pretty close there. So Mercury in the jungle this time around and Osiris in the solo lane. Now, when Osiris first came out, it was thought that he was going to be a solo laner, and it was actually quickly dismissed in the way that he can be pretty easily abused just because he doesn't really have the way to clear the whole wave. His flail does not hit both sides of the range, and of course, he doesn't really have a way to kind of clear it out. His main clearing mechanism is his auto attacks. He's a hit chain that has an AoE component on the last two hits, which makes him very quick at clearing minions. The problem is that he needs a death's toll, he needs HP, he needs protection. Now, the question is, does he run like a heavy hammer for 200 HP and some extra physical power and actually clear the wave that way with the basic attacks? Does he run a Death's Toll and look for the regeneration of the Death's Toll? I mean, there's a lot of options here, but it's going to be difficult against a character like Zhonghui where
is there a value lifesteal item here that he's going to pick up? He's going to pick up, a
maybe
Devourer's Gauntlet rank 1 and just roll with that for a while.
Well, he can't poke Zhong. Zhong is free to do whatever he wants. He's going to get free heal from the Exorcism. He's going to clear the wave with the Exposed Evil. He's got a stun and a lot of natural protections. I don't see Divios doing anything in this lane for the first 10 minutes.
How does he even hold? I mean, it's got to be a Hog game, as in even a Hog 2 game here for Divios. I mean, we'll see exactly how he likes to play this here. And what I do want to have a little guess at here is over-under a number of Witchblades purchased this game.
I'm going to say...
Oh, okay. The over-under's 3. Over or under?
Over.
Taking the over on 3.
Over on 3.
House takes the under, I guess so.
Okay.
3 or under, I win. 3 or over. Or over 3, you win.
What do we win?
The adoration of Smite Twitch chat.
A forgiveness for leaking Kukulkan?
No, no one can ever be forgiven for that.
Jesus.
I will be retiring.
Jesus.
But back to the game, my friends, where, some quickly becoming, I guess, hallmark picks for these teams coming out. The Nuwa
Yes.
going the way of Derby and the Aoguang on Boosh here. And statistically, Boosh will have the better of this matchup.
Sure.
Derby has done well on Nuwa, but not to the level that Boosh has excelled on Aoguang.
Right. Al Guang is definitely a big, big player here, especially on Boosh. I mean, we saw that last game, right? Our last night's game. Dignitas was pushing in for the win. One Boosh ultimate stopped it. And then they have to come back in. Boosh stops it. I mean, Boosh has so much control with his character. It makes such a big difference. And so I'm excited to see,
Core difference is everything. They had Aphrodite on top of the Aoguang, so they could hold 2 lanes. Here, not so much. It'll be less because Gars won't be going likely for that golden bow, at least not rushed. But,
Right.
We'll see if he does indeed. He probably will have one towards the end of the game, and it has been a favorite build for him.
Well, if you're just joining us, guys, go ahead and introduce our teams. We're going Cog Red against Snipe. First up is Cognitive Red. And there will be on the screen here Divios in the solo lane, Daboosh in the mid lane, Snoopy in the Hunter role, Eonic in Guardian, and Dagars in the jungle. Of course, that's going to be the full lineup, and they're facing against Snipe.
Snipe will be fighting on the top of the minimap, the red trunks on the right side of your spectator UI. Let's take a look at their shining faces. Here they are. Kiki or Na in the solo lane with Zhongkui. Mid lane is going to be Gerbs on Nuwa. In Continentia in the Guardian role as Bacchus. Allied will be your Hunter as Ur. And Weaken in the jungle as Thor.
Thor.
Actually Thor.
Good,
yeah, and I would have never thought that we would put Kukulkan's images up on iCloud, but hey, shows what we know.
Hey, that's it. All done. All done. Well,
here's some early answers to some of your questions. It's going to be a Frostbound Hammer, rank 2 heavy hammer into Hog 1.
Into Hog 1.
For Didios,
Interesting.
in the solo lane.
So that's what I meant, right? It's just a little bit extra P, a bit of physical power, just kind of help clear the way. Use that auto attack passive to kind of just build things up here. He could also go into Golden Bow, which does decently for a character like Osiris, able to kind of clear the way even that much faster. 5 members from Snipe looking for a kill here. Yonic is kind of caught out, not in range for belly flop just yet. In range now, puts the war down and turns right back around as the sickle just goes into the nothingness as he loses his arms and his left leg for his throw. At this point, Jerb is going to be going for a Bancroft's start with a tiny trinket rather than the lost artifact. Same thing goes for Kiki or Na. Across the way, Boots start for Gars in the jungle rather than going for Hog 2. We're seeing this more and more.
Well, we're about 40 seconds away from the minion spawning here, and the team's just jockeying for position a little bit. But Snipe doesn't look. I mean, they're push forward a little bit aggressively, but they mainly want to make sure that Cog Red is not looking to invade that orange buff. And well, this one is just a really, really strange kind of game that we have set up for ourselves here. And a lot of it comes down to this kind of like super sustaining, hard pushing, strong team fighting mage in the solo lane going up against a tanky, low clear, high damage, hyper carry potential solo laner. And Divios is kind of that swing frontliner, seems like, for the team. But given how Divios likes to play this thing, he's going to get damage out of him. He's not going to end up with just a tankiness, kind of what we saw from Andenster last game.
Well, Andenster is a player that is known for making smart decisions, and he kind of like is more of a Andenster used to be the apprentice of like a player like Lass, right? And then all of a sudden, you see junglers that like the ones we have matched, like Gars, who was also kind of in that pool of Andenster, Lass, and Gars all grouping up. Gars learning a little bit from Lass when they were, the top of the world and that kind of thing. And Gars really coming into his own here, and we're going to see him do exactly what he knows how to do. He's currently the most farmed in the game right now on that Mercury, just making plays right now. He actually went back into the mid lane here with an early rotation, looking to steal a little bit of the golden experience from the mid laner, as we did see last night from Team Dignitas. So looks like that might become a trend. Fast damage buff. Wow.
Yeah, super fast damage buff here, and well, they're going to leave it to Divios to hold the lane by himself.
Well, it seems to be okay. I mean, he's holding on. He's going to lose a little bit of golden experience as the minions do take tower shots there. But a lot of it comes back to the fact that, early rotation from Gars allows Boosh to do the damage buff, pick it up early, and then go for the back Harpy, and that's basically exposed there. I mean, a minute and a half, and they already have damage buff and back Harpy's dead. That is very, very uncommon.
Yeah, but it doesn't net them a big experience or gold lead.
Well, Gars is level 4.
Yeah, it does. It does get those two characters up quite high though, and But at the same time, Divios, he's gotten a lot of experience as well for himself here in the Soul Lane at level 4 as well. Kiki taking a lot of damage.
Wow, Kiki actually dropping low here, missing the sickle, but not the flail. That will take him down to about half HP, 350 HP to his name. Damage buff will go to Derby as Weekend comes by and grabs that one up there. Boosh is now tasked with defending the lane, but of course, since he is level 3 and beyond, Ao Guang has no problem taking this wave out.
Yeah, there you see him using the high skill ability that allows Ao Guang.
I like his
to clear
placement
waves.
there.
Yeah,
He actually
great
put it
placement.
so the minions were inside the giant circle, and then they went to the giant circle and they died.
Yes, you put the enormous lane-wide circle down in the lane.
Right.
And then if they all touch it, they all die.
Right, all minions dead at that point, so great clear.
Great clear there, and we'll see if he can keep up that level of execution throughout the rest of the laning phase.
Well, I'm concerned about Gars here on Mercury. He does also have a giant circle, but the question is, can he actually land it consistently to do that massive crit damage?
That's true. Also, Geb with a giant circle.
Yeah.
Also, Apollo's ultimate a giant
Yeah,
circle.
very true.
Also, Osiris's
Bacchus'
abilities.
ultimate giant circle.
By and large, giant circles.
Thor's got a circle the ultimate as well. Circles. Actually, Jerb has a slow-moving circle that kind of slowly creeps up on you, so we'll see if they can avoid the circle attack at that point. No vision on the map currently. Actually, there are no wards placed down at all. Neither of the teams have any vision. There's one just got placed down there from guards on the opposite side, the aggressive side of the mid lane. Weekend is now defending this mid lane here in the absence of Jerby, but this is a little bit slow here, especially given the fact that the mid camps are spawning.
Whose circles will reign supreme as the mid camps come back up here on the left and right side? Looks like right side going to spawn just before the left side. Oh, actually going for a gank there. Gar's going to miss the ultimate, coming through with, well, an ultimate on top of that missed ultimate is Boosh, and that is going to erase Weekend. No defensive items to his name at this point, and Cog Red going to be looking to pick up both the camps. Onyx going to have his work cut out for him, though, as Bacchus from Incon hot on his trail. Inhan's coming through, belly flop, a shield there, no knockup, and they looks like they both went to Cog Red.
Cog Red picked him up, so things are looking good. 3.5 minutes in the match. Cog Red with that first blood, taking down Mr. Weekend in the process against those mid camps. A lot of gold gain on the right side. We do see Divios taking a little bit of damage here, but not so much. Kiki or not force pop his ultimate here, and that's a big one. You can see the second Divios saw that ultimate pop, he's like, win, and then one ran back to his tower here to head on home. Forcing that ultimate out was a big, big gain for him.
Yeah, with that, he's going to be able to re-aggress here once he gets back to the lane. Geb's going to come cover for him, so nicely placed rotations by Cog Red there. But Divios is going to have his boots going here. It'll be interesting to see what he goes for as his second active ability. He may be the one picking up the shell here, allowing Ionic to still go blink.
It does need that blink, though. It's something we saw last match, right, where definitely was unable to pick up the blink on the Geb, and that kind of zone control being lost was a huge detriment to the team, especially in the initiation standpoint. Now, counter initiation is always going to be there for Geb because he just walks up and ult, but it's that big distance clear instantaneously. One of the reasons why Bacchus used to be the best character, best guardian in the game is that his belly flop had more range and a faster animation, so it's like this instantaneous initiation on the team fight can make a big difference.
Belly flop strike.
Belly flop strike.
Divios, he's actually made it very easily and successfully out of the early laning stage where we thought he may be deficient, and has really bullied Kiki around this lane. I'm not sure if Kiki really knows exactly what he's got himself into here. Boosh in a lot of trouble in the mid lane. Great positioning there. Gar's coming through, and the ultimate coming out yet again. Weekend to fall yet again. And Jerry's actually going to juke him out to the right side, but it's going to be tough to outrun a Mercury here. He should have another mage look or special delivery available. Start kicking him down. There is the Ao Guang, and Jerby's kiting unsuccessful as the final hits come through, and Gars finds yet another kill here. 2-0-1 for the Gars on, the hardest carry in the game. And they have an Osiris on top of that who used to be the hardest carry in the game. You can't be feeling too good about that if you're Snipe, giving them the early kills and farm room in the case of Divios.
Yeah, so we've got 18,000 golds total here for Cog Red, across the way 16.5k for Snipe. Looking at the gold numbers right now, you can see 1,700 gold in favor of Cog Red, 3,300 experience as well. So top player damage will go the way of Divios on Osiris. Mercury's got top gold, top gills, and across the way Jongwon's got that top player damage as well. So if the top player damage is in the solo lane for your team, you're obviously not making a lot of ganks happen, as a lot of that comes from Kiki or not. Kiki or not actually taking a lot of damage from Divios here, to the point where he actually can't even leave his tower effectively. He is just getting bullied by the damage coming out from Divios, especially with the heavy hammer, and the fact that if he tries to, jumping in looking for the hit, actually did not hit the ultimate, so the heal will come out from the exorcism. A big miss there from Divios. Stunning out the hammer is going to be weakened. The stun will come out from Osiris's 3. There goes the flail to clear off the wave and a sickle to force him back here, but if he doesn't land the ultimate, he can stop the heal.
That's very true. Yeah, the ultimate does. So if you see the guys running around with like the blue version of themselves floating above their head, that is because they've been hit by the Osiris ultimate, ripping their souls to their body and making it so they cannot be healed. So if you see that effect and you're not familiar with kind of what this guy looks like in the spectator mode, that's what it is. That actually is the same effect that's in the game. It's just much more brilliant here in spectator when you have this high angle to look at it.
Yeah, you can't really see the perspective as it is above the players, and sometimes it just gets lost in all the chaos. Snoopy taking a lot of harassment left side ally.
Oh, he's going to get picked up. No beats from Jerb still, and he's dead to rights here. Going to try to kite through the smoke cloud, but there's an ultimate coming out, and another ultimate coming out, and Jerby zigs and then zags, but stays in a straight line and goes down to that Alguang ultimate. Snoopy's rotating over towards the mid as well.
Yeah.
And then circling back because he thought better of it, and he's going to go ahead and maybe try to farm.
Well, Allied almost died there to the solo from Snoopy as you see the rotation come out from Incontinentia trying to force it away, but that's probably why they ended up losing that mid fight there, as of course Allied forced to get some support from his teammate, leaving his teammates exposed in the mid lane as Snoopy does force out that fight. Of course, as soon as Incontinentia rotates, he pops his ultimate just for the CC immunity and avoiding the kill, because he doesn't want to die on the back end of his team winning a fight. So 4-0 right now currently. Things are looking pretty darn good for Cog Red. Things are looking pretty darn good for me, as I do have the Boosh on my fantasy lineup. And so things are kind of going well for everyone except for Snipe. But you know, look at the numbers right now. They're going to be looking at 2,600 gold in favor of the Boosh's team, Cog Red. Yeah, Boosh on the screen right now, 14.5 KDA across the way. Derby at 4.1.
It's just like circus numbers he has there. And probably most importantly here, taking a look at Jerby's farm, 4,280 gold farm so far in the game. Boosh up about 600 gold on him, Divios up about 100, and Gar's up almost 1,000 gold. In fact, over 1,000 gold up on Jerby. And like we keep saying, Mercury is going to carry this game. At 30 minutes, the game is over because you have Mercury. We're not going to see... Oh, hold that thought. Kiker not in a lot of trouble on the right side lane. Actually, here comes, well, all of the chain stuns. He's going to try to do what he can, but nothing doing there. It's just stuns into stuns, and Cog Red seems to have Snipe's number here. And Snipe having a really hard time adjusting. 5 kills not going the way of Cog Red. 3,000 gold, 5,000 experience, and a gold fear going to go their way as well, as there's just no way they can respond. Allied and Incon pushed out of the lane here, and, well, you know, boys, it's a tough life. Sometimes this one looks dire. I mean, and after an hour-long game, we could be looking at one of the shortest games on record here, as this one is pulling away heavily in favor of Cog, and they have the better carry potential, and they have an extremely strong mid-game lineup with that Alquang and Gev ultimate. The team fight there's nuts, and when Divios decides to rotate, or they decide to go as 5 and force fights, it's going to be really hard for Snipe to deal with it.
It really is, and they kind of need, you know, a pressure from Weekend, who's 0-2 right now, doesn't have the gold gain to keep himself up. Now finish out the Warrior top E, but you know, when you pick those up late, you don't really have the CDR from Jotuns. You may need to be forced into an Urchin earlier than you would have liked, which then limits your damage even more. So you know, it's an awkward position for Snipe to be in right now, where they're already, you know, 5,000 gold behind at 9 minutes. You have to start making some tough decisions because you don't have a lot of gold to throw around. I mean, you decide, do I want to buy actives or do I want to buy damage? Do I want to buy defense or do I want to buy damage? It's like, I have to sacrifice something to get something, and you never want to be in that situation.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you never want to be in a position where you're having to choose between not dying instantly and having any hope of winning the fight because your damage output's too low.
Yeah.
You know, Divios here is going to be going to the Chin size. He's going to have them online in about 4 minutes or so. And things are going to be really ugly then because he'll start moving. And Gars has his golden bow finished. So spread damage online, plus, maybe more importantly, his MS and his crit.
MS is going to make a big difference there, so that's going to be, you know, something that you're looking at. 90 minutes and 52 seconds in the match. Osiris going to the right side lane. The tower is already down for Divios' lane. 1-0-0 on Osiris, surprisingly up against the more powerful Zhong Kui. Amazing play so far. The Sprint 2 activation from Kiki Na will be just prevent these major slows from Osiris. And Osiris making his way back in, right? And because Divios has so much gold and his team is controlling the map, he's like, I'm just going to rush into Chins.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to itemize further past just Hog 1, which is also helping him out a lot. You know, he has an opportunity here to really save his item for much later in the game in terms of the second active. He can continue to pressure here. There's no real danger of dying. Well, now Weekend comes over, and between him and Kiki, he may have some deaths coming out. The Ghost's going to come through, dashing in his Gars just to bail out his teammate, but it is not going to result in a kill. Just missing the CC there.
Well, Blue Buff's going to be taken on the right side, stolen away. Kiki's got nothing in his name right now. Just boots, too. He doesn't even have his boots complete at 10 minutes and 48 seconds. Very, very rough. He doesn't have his Blue Buff either. His tower is down. He's going to lock this lane, trying to play catch-up, but that means that, you know, rotation's going to start coming out from Divios, joining in all the Reindeer games, and it's going to be the point where a lot of Snipe members really can't deal with the added damage of Osiris just getting in their face, ulting them, and then sending them down. Now, they don't really have a whole lot of healing other than self-healing on the side of Zhong Kui, so it's not going to be a big loss when Lord of the Afterlife lands on top of them, and they have 100% healing reduction, but it's also an interesting interesting engagement that allows Cog Red to kind of control the entirety of the map, right? They can start, spreading out, stealing buffs, stealing back harpies, and play this long war of attrition where Snipe does not have map control, and they'll slowly get worse and worse off as the game goes on.
I don't think this is a let's get more ahead position. I think this is a let's flex our muscles position here from Cognitive Red. They have big items coming online and big damage dealers and a lot of CC.
Big circles.
And big old circles.
Big old circles. They got him. They got him. They've got him. Garbs has a golden bow in the jungle here. I don't know if I agree with this, actually. If you're playing jungle Mercury, oftentimes you don't see a golden bow. It's more of a laning item thing, but it does allow him to get a lot more spread on the targets. It's just it'll hurt his in-hand damage.
Oh, left side, and Khan has a decent angle here, but actually he's going to miss the belly flop, and Snoopy was, Geb shielded anyway, which picking boxes into Geb is tricky because of that knock-up immunity, and the rest of Cog Red siphoning themselves over to this left side lane, but it's going to be mostly recalls from them, not looking to aggress just yet.
Now looking to aggress, and they really can't. Honestly, it's not really worth it. I mean, it's going to be risk versus reward. How many times are they going to kill an underfarmed person and hope to get a win there? Devious find the mid lane for Jerby. The slow going to come out there. Big burst. The root comes out. Squall comes out. New Alder is not going to be enough. And Jerby's running through here. A few more shots should do it for the Boosh.
Oh, Boosh, please. Boosh, you casual. Can't even hit Nuwa coming out of an ultimate while invisible and moving.
Ridiculous.
This guy.
Should have put a giant circle down.
If only he had a larger giant circle.
Well, the mid camp's going to be cleared out here by Gars and Boosh. Warlock Sash for Boosh will keep him alive, especially against single target damage. Here's the problem, right? They don't really have a whole lot of damage in their, reserves here. Across the way, it would be nice ultimate. We can avoid the grab there from Gars up there. He goes, no follow-up from his team. I doubt he's going to initiate on this one. Might be going the left lane, actually. Dashing down. Looking for something. Allied's going to take a little bit of damage here as Snoopy tries to fight it out. I'm surprised to see we can not go to the left lane to kill the Hunter.
Gars is going to steal away this orange buff, and Snipe's going to come try to contest it, but they're going to run right into the fed Cog Red team now. Ultimate coming out from the Boosh, actually going to miss Kiki, but Divios is here, and he can tank up, especially with that Get Shield. Ghost coming out, doesn't matter, going to get stunned out now by the tether, and down will fall Kiki. Now it's Divios the one that's in a little bit of trouble, but not too much. He's just so resilient. He may have bit off more against you now. Ulting out, in comes Incon. Incon finds that kill. In the meantime, though, Gars will pick up Allied. Weaken under tower, also quite low. Gars going to try to make his way out. Intoxication going to miss him. He's going to get a Geb Shield, and he's going to scoot on out of there. In the meantime, your boy Snoopy is attacking a tower with an Apollo, which means it is going to fall shortly. His passive Audacity, one of the best in the game. That's
well, of course, he did get a solo kill there on Allied. Allied was forced to kind of engage in a point he really did not want. You look at the gold numbers as well. Snoopy about 1,000 gold ahead of Allied right now. And he's suffering for it, right? And this is the critique. This is the same critique I've been talking about every single week, even after the NA Pro League kickoff land. Allied is not good at getting monies. He does not stack up the gold coins and get it up into his pocket. He's currently 400 gold behind his own support. He just does not get the gold gain that his team needs him to have. And when you start transitioning into the mid game where he only has boots, it doesn't really stack up to a successful game there. So realistically, I'd like to see Allied start to get more gold over the overall, just as general, like miss less waves, look for more back camps, try to just be more successful in the gold gain, because that's what you would look for a Hunter.
Right, yeah, I mean, it's you got to really examine that play closely, right, and say, is he giving up farm to get someone else ahead? And realistically, it seems like a lot of times the answer is no here. It's mostly that Allied's being forced out of lane too often.
Yeah, that's the point, right? I mean, you're looking at Kiki. Kiki has lost his tower, heavily abused, 2 deaths, and Kiki has more gold than Allied.
Or you would at least expect something like, if he doesn't have his high GP, he's getting more kills or at least more assists on the back of that because he's rotating more. Sure. But again, it doesn't feel that way. Now, I'm not speaking out of a lot of knowledge of deep analysis of Allied's game, but it just kind of anecdotally, that's kind of what it looks like the problem is. He's just getting forced out of lane too much, or he's making bad rotations too often. But Allied, a very, very tenured player. It's hard to imagine that it's just routine mistakes from him. It feels like it must be calculated, or he's just getting outplayed.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Especially given the fact that, when started rotating the supports out of the lane, a lot of times it just comes down to single target damaging. And sometimes, with the passive that Apollo has, it's hard to stack up against that. Game going towards the Gold Fury here. Mid-camp's going to spawn on the right side. It's going to be going to Snipe as they do start to stack this up. Looks like the left side, they're going to go for the Gold Fury shortly. Cog going to start it up here. You're not going to smack it up. They see the rotation come from Snipe, looking for a disruption here. Incon does have a very strong disruption with that belly flop into a hog. Cog 3. Merc goes with Prime. Gar's looking for the double hit. Throws up the look for the weekend's done. They need to get a good team fight here if they want to start winning this game. Snipe needs a big turnaround. Ultimate coming out. There goes the dunk. Looking for a kill. Gar's actually avoids it and then grabs. We can force the purification speeds. Allied goes down to Snoopy. New ones have they look for AoE damage. It's not going to be enough to kill on anyone except for the Divios. Weekend on the ground. Incon that's just going to do. Jerby's dropping low. Damage from Snoopy's getting very heavy here. And Yonic's going to take up the tower. Boosh going to come through here. Gar's going to get the kill on double there for Jerby. Possibly.
I think they go Fire Giant here. Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. Here goes the boys at Cog Red. The young men are going to go look and take a Fire Giant here. One of the earlier ones we're going to see. 16.5 minutes. Kiki's going to come wander over here and see if he can do what it do, but Cog Red has laid the ambush. They've laid the ambush deep here, but Kiki has the board. Finding them out. In fact, the board is vision is significantly more in favor of Cog Red, but I'm sorry, of Snipe, but Cog Red, they have no qualms about this. They're just going to blow through the Fire Giant here, and will they hold it for Divios? Nah, they don't even like him. He may be 14, but he doesn't need a Fire Giant buff. They no babysitting for Divios. He's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way with his sprint 3 and chin size.
Sprint 3 and chin size, indeed. Looks like the mid area is going to be pushed up here. Fire Giant buff going the way of Cog Red with only one person missing it is not a good look here for Snipe. And, you know, a lot of it comes down to the presence this Gars is bringing to the table. 5-0 and 6 on Gars. He said the Deathbringer completed a lot of gold gain. But you can look at this, the overall stats. Gars at 3.1 KDA, Weekend at 8.8 KDA. So Gars a lot less, but Gars likes to play those utility junglers like Thor, like Humbots that really bring space control and team fight initiation, whereas Weekend likes to kill the killers like Nemesis. Mid lane, they'll look for a kill. Gars going in, looking for Weekend. As we talked about with the junglers, looking for the ultimate, not going to find it. Hammer comes through. Weekend gets the distance. There's the made you look, but it's not going to be enough. Weekend disengages there and survives.
You know, and when Cognitive Red plays like this, it's hard to believe that Dignitas outplayed them yesterday. It seems a lot easier to kind of fall back on the idea that they just had a bad game. Because playing at this form, I mean, because Snipe was able to beat Dig. Right? Like, Snipe beat Dig. And it wasn't like it was an extremely hard game for them. And Cognitive Red is walking on Snipe right now. 11 kills to 2, 18 minutes into the game with a 9,000 gold advantage and 13,000 XP. A Fire Giant as well, sub 20 minutes. I mean, this is one of the bigger leads that, you know, you're going to see.
Well, mid tower under pressure here. Cog Red looking to end this game early with 2 kills on the board. Snipe doesn't have a whole lot going for them. They need to make a big play if they want to stop this major push. Momentum is building up here. Do we see an ultimate come out from Weekend in the jungle? We do indeed. He's going to open there. Looking for the dunk. Who's he looking for? He's looking for the backline. Maybe on Ionic. Looking for the dunk. Going to find it on Ionic. There's no ultimate. There's the Gable ultimate response. Ionic's still alive. Weekend forced to disengage entirely there. Belch Shot's not going to land on Gars. Snoopy is ticking down the damage. Ooh, good axe there from Allied, but not going to have enough damage to follow up with no deaths in that fight. Surprisingly enough, a lot of cooldowns used. In fact, only 4 ultimates left in the game. 4 ultimates used on the side of Snipe, but only 2 on the side of Cog Red. So a very large disparity there, and given the fact that Cog Red's still going, that mid tower went down, they're looking for the left one.
Yeah, not going to pressure the Phoenix just yet. They're going to take their Fire Giant buff and take their talents to the tier 2 on the left side here. Mercury busy picking up a blue buff for himself, though. It looks like they're going to shove the lane up there. They're not interested in tanking the tower at this point. And Alkwang's Mighty Circle killing all of the minions and now able to push in a full wave here. Looks like 1 melee minion is Cog Red. Well, Nuwa Circle now doing some work as well, but still able to push it in. That'll give them enough to get Snoopy some pot shots, but Weekend ultimate not available, but he's positioned like he might have one, or at least looking to initiate Divios. He's going to spot him out. Weekend hasn't seen Divios, and Weekend's going to be forced to teleport into tower range now, and the moment of surprise is gone, and now it's Divios that's able to set up the backstab.
Big harassment with that hail of arrows from Ally on the left side, trying to keep him off the tower. Enoch rolling in full pistachio form. Shockwave there on Ally, forcing him away. Kotech just going to get the stun for the belt to the gods. Tower going to take a lot of damage here from Boosh, and Snoopy just shredding through it with that audacity. The left tower is still standing, or sorry, the right tower is still standing here for Snipe, the last remaining tower. None of the towers have fallen yet for Cog Red. The mid tower is the only one that has significant damage being shown on the HP bar. The Fire Giant's going to be respawning here in just about 1 minute and 20 seconds. And the question is, can Snipe get it? Jerby running that inner girdle of inner power, new wall, which seems to work well, but yeah, when it comes to team fights, it seems like it doesn't work as well.
No, I mean, well, clearly not. It's a single person, you know, steroid there. It's not the girdle.
No, he just girdles into ultimate, right? But the time it takes for you to girdle and then ultimate and come back down, a lot of times the team fight has gone down in the enemy's favor, right? So you have to be careful about when you decide to ult. And a lot of times it's that separation, right? Same thing goes for Shibalanki ultimate. You want to make sure that if you are running a global ultimate like that, you want to pop it like in that 5 seconds before the team fight starts, not during the team fight, right?
Sure. Yeah, and or use it, for positioning, right? Like build cooldown and use it to give your team vision consistently, save money on wars potentially. There's ways to use this ultimate that is effective outside of the damage that it deals, which I think is what you're getting at here.
Yeah.
As a start of the fight, chip everyone down, make the burst a little more
Right.
potent. Even something like get a Gem of Isolation and slow all 5 members, or even something like let's get a Obsidian Shard or a Spear of the Magus and get a little bit, or a Spear of the Magus, sorry, and apply the debuff, even though it's only 1 stack, right? It's still magic protection gone. But we do have a replay here. First of all, let's go ahead and take a look.
Let's bring it back to see where this match actually started prior. Of course, it has all been building for Cognitive Red. Gar's getting a great initiation in the beginning there. You can see him kind of hanging out in the mid lane, looking for an ultimate. Pops the ultimate, looks for the shot. It's a great out of line of sight, grabbing Weaken. Weaken's got no ultimate there. And of course, it goes right into the Ao Guang ultimate. And there's so many things you can do with Ao Guang, right? Literally every ability that has some kind of CC component along it allows Ao Guang to hit a very easy Spirits Tempest there, Athena Taunt, Mercury Grab. And the greatest thing about a Mercury Grab is that you can go for an awkward initiation, right? Because Athena has to be worried about angles and where she grabs the taunt, but Mercury's like, okay, where's the dragon?
Yeah, let me just throw
go into the dragon.
Go into the dragon, yeah.
Go into death.
That's true. That's a good point there, is that, well, in some ways, Mercury the superior CC'er to Athena when matched with Ao Guang, but not the AoE potential, certainly, that we have seen. Notably from Incontinential, when he did rotate first over to the support role, just sticks out of my mind to make Athena taunt into Ao Guang ultimate from LC Stealth, back when he did play with the Stealth. But this game is still looking pretty dang tough for Snipe. 2 kills to 11. They're down, a pretty tough 12,500 gold. There's a Fire Giant buff that's running out now, but the Fire Giant is going to be back up here in just a second. And we are back underway with the reconnection coming out. And, well, for Cognitive Red, it's just kind of a matter of picking their moment, finding an opportunity, and going all in.
Sure. Well, that's what's going to happen. I mean, honestly, Snipe can't let this game go on the way it has been for too much longer. They're just going to hit that tilt point where they can never return. They have to make sure that they pick their fights right. And here's the biggest thing. When you're this far behind, it's not about winning the team fight unless you get a really great opportunity. It's more like, let's get a pick and immediately back. Let's get a tower and immediately back. You have to be very cautious how you position yourself. And I think, Snipe's tendency here is to try to engage entirely, and we'll see how well it works out for them. Looking at itemization, though, Rage almost done for Degars. He's got that Deathbringer as well. Across the way, Divios is going for the High Rock build where you just build tier 2 of everything because reasons. And it's just stacking stats is all it is. You just want to get as much of those cheap stats as you can. Of course, looking at Heavy Hammer, 1,100 gold, Silver Talisman around 1,200, Smithy's Hammer, pretty cheap as well. So a bunch of physical protection, a bunch of magical protection, and it looks like it's going to be 650 HP as well across all those cheap items for the cost of like 1 defensive item.
Why? Bionic? Solo warding? Yeah, solo warding the orange buff there, but not enough damage to actually keep him locked out, and so he's going to be able to, rotate back and meet with at least the Osiris over here. Kiki and Incon, they're going to counter ward, but they're actually going to miss the ward that just spot the orange buff here, so they're going to get a lot of vision still out of this, and Snipe's going to have a hard time understanding. They're going to think they're safe here with that counter ward coming out successfully. Spreading out the map here a bit is the boys of Cog Red. Weaken's rotating over here towards the left side, but he's not going to be able to get an angle on this His game sense just a little too strong. No, I'm sorry, there's a ward there, so still probably has good game sense, but not in this case was it a big factor.
Right side forcing the ultimate out of Kiki. A big win there for Cog Red.
Oh, yeah.
Sending him home as well. Taking a lot of harassment there from Divios as well as the rotation from Boosh. In the jungle they go. They still have the movement speed buff, and that's one of the biggest downsides of being this far behind without a lot of vision is that you can't even control your own jungle, and so it's just going to keep getting worse and worse as far as the gold. They have to start making a play shortly or just try to play for the super late game, right? They can just turtle forever and hope to win when the gold starts to balance out, but it's going to be a long grind. I mean, you can see that Derby has just finished his book. Weekend just now starting his 3rd item. Kiki now going for what looks like a Witchblade, I would imagine. Going to pick that one up there. So it's interesting, right? I mean, what can Snipe do to get back in this match?
Cog Red is playing this so patiently.
Look at that Gold Fury.
Yeah, Apollo's going to go in solo, and that's why they're not aggressing deeply into this right side tower. They're perfectly happy to take the gold, and at 23 minutes, I mean, that's still a lot of gold experience going their way. Gold Fury going to be falling here shortly as Apollo continues to solo it down, getting down to its last about 10% HP. But Cog Red hasn't got a lot of poke onto the tower, and that's because their Apollo's in here. And doesn't look like Snipe has figured it out as of yet, but he is going to be able to take that down and continue a split push on the left side. Positioning-wise, I mean, it's a nice place for Snoopy to be. You get an objective, he's going to steal a mana buff, he's going to have plenty of mana, he's going to be able to split push the left side while your team is perfectly happy continuing to shove the wave into the right, and there's no way they can initiate into Divios and Ionic. They're just too tanky. Mercury can rotate around, taking the buffs as they come back up, and all things told, this is a nice position from Cog Red. They've done a great job strategically of putting Snipe in a bad position.
Well, in the bad position they are, and that's where they're going to be unless they make a play here. Belly flop coming out, Tower's going to take a lot of damage, and Toss Kick gets used there, and immediately Cog Red backs off. They're very comfortable forcing these cooldowns and doing nothing with it. Just force an ult, back off, force an ult, back off. And
go to Fire Giant.
Yeah, they can Fire Giant at any point here, or they can just keep Snoopy split pushing until someone goes home and then Fire Giant. They have so much control here. It's really just their entire game, the entire fate of Snipe is resting gently and comfortably in the hands of Cog Red, and Snipe doesn't know what to do about it. I mean, they lost so much gold so quickly in this match. I mean, you can see, at 7 minutes they were already about 5,000 gold behind. At 18 minutes they were 10,000 gold behind. 24 minutes they're 14,000 gold behind. It is just so far out of their hands here that they have to start making some very risky plays.
They got to play risk. Yeah. I mean, to get back into this game, it's going to have to be risk. They're going to have to pick a point, and they're going to have to go in. I mean, like we were saying earlier, they got to pick their point, and they got to go all in. That's their only option.
Well, they got to make something happen, because if they're playing the long game, it gets to the point where Cog Red can come in and just tighten the noose so tight that no matter what they do, they're just going to wriggle and slowly run out of breath. And so Snipe really has to figure out a game plan and then implement it shortly, because the time is ticking. And
Divios build. He's got the rank 2 build. Go in the High Rock build.
And it's the High Rock build. He's got Aussie now. But like I was mentioning, with Heavy Hammer, Silver Talisman, and Smithy's Hammer, you spend about 3,000 gold, but you get 650 HP and a bunch of protection. So it's effectively a defense item all in of itself, just no passive.
Right, yeah. And it's fairly gold efficient. You get a nice spread of HP and a lot of, in fact, between these three items you're getting 600.
Mid lane, Snoopy look for the fight here, gets blocked by the minions, the rotation from Ionic, there's the Girdle, up there he goes, but he gets killed in the animation! Thor's up in the air, where's he gonna go? There's no team fight left to fight. It might go over the right side for Divios, but he's also very tanky. That's the downside of Girdle Nuwa. I mean, the animation on the ultimate is so long that you have to use it to finish the fight or start the fight, and you use it defensively, you're just going to go down.
Well, he was dead to rights there, just trying to put some damage where he did, and weaken with, well, the saddest of all the Thor ults. When you go up in the air, you realize you can't initiate. There's nowhere for you to even ult to farm, and you're just a sad panda. Right side here, deep. Let's take a look as Divios is 2v1ing. There's a fight in the mid lane as well. Looks like in some serious trouble, but rotating over to the right as well is Snoopy, where now Snipe's getting overtaken here, and any kills coming out are going to be big. Snoopy does kill Kiki, and Boosh in the meantime does kill Inkan in the mid lane, and that will guarantee the Fire Giant as the Hog 3 holder is dead. Divios continuing in after weekend. He's not going to die to the Phoenix here, but it will set up a free Fire Giant for the boys of Cog Red, and this could very well be it, as they're going to be knocking on the door. They should be able to actually pick up a Phoenix here, both of their physical damage dealers in the front line. And Divios just so tanky and elusive right now with the amount of slow and damage he's putting out. One auto attack is generally enough to spring him out of a fight at this point. Taking a spill is Divios, but not before the damage is done. Fire Giant buff active as well. They'll drop it off just him. But now there's the 4 members of Cog Red who are worth, probably combined, still about 5,000 more gold than Snipe together. Going to knock on the door of the mid lane Phoenix here, as no more towers remain, and the, well, Titan is already exposed.
Well, Divios has died 3 times, and there's only been 3 deaths on the side of Cog Red, so he's just the main target there. Big burst on Jerby, taking him out.
And now we can take it into the air. I mean, I feel like we've seen this before. Jerby going down and Weekend looking to ult, not having a great target, but this time he is going to elect to go in, forced to throw the hammer right back out. Bush going to look to follow it up with the Algong ultimate, but a little bit off the mark with the Spirit Tempest, just a little bit too late on that reaction. Needs to basically toss it out right as the Thor hammer goes out and pick the right vector. Gar's hammering away at the mid Phoenix, and down it goes super duper fast there.
Oh!
Fairly low, but not going to die.
That was a tornado. Just one tornado.
That was one?
That was one tornado.
Them circles.
I mean, that's it. I mean, he's got so much damage. He's got penetration. He's got the book. He's got the sash, which goes with his passive. His passive, Graceful Winds, actually stacks up 5% increased damage based on maximum mana. Same thing goes for the Book of Thoth, which of course is going to be at 3%, which they stack. So it's like, you know, if you're out with a bunch of mana, it's so much damage. You can see the fact that Kiki has no magical protection or HP items at all. A single tornado almost killed him outright at level 17 versus the level 20 Boosh. They're currently the same. I mean, look at it. Kiki is the only person in the game who has yet to actually cross over the 10,000 gold threshold. He's still on 4 digits, about to cross over 5 now, but Boosh is 3,000, 4,000 gold ahead of him. What do they do?
Well, it looks like, probably most importantly of all, you're going to lose the over-under on Witchblade here. We may not even see one build.
We didn't even get the late game though. That's not fair.
No, it's fair.
That's not fair.
Them's the breaks.
What do I have to give? What do I have to give?
You have to give me everything.
Okay, well,
give them nothing. Take from them everything.
Well, they're taking from them the gold theory. Crits are coming out here.
Yeah, 642 damage a pop from Snoopy right now with the Fire Giant buff active. Hasn't even finished off his Deathbringer, and things are going to get ugly quickly. Well, things have been ugly for some time, and they're just going to get uglier quicker.
Wow. Expert analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Brought to you by Bort.
Ugly or quick here?
Very quick here. So now it's going to come through here looking for some...
Production is literally yelling Boosh, guys, so...
is there a play coming?
I would assume that Boosh is about to do something just absolutely disgusting. I'm not sure how they know ahead of us, but let's go ahead and find out. The Boosh is, well, on the Dragon here floating around. Weekend is up in the air. The Boosh calls. Will they be real? Divio's falling yet again. Already picking this fight, looking good for Snipe so far. There's the ultimate coming out from Gars. The follow-up as well coming out. Here comes the ultimate from Boosh. 1400 damage onto Weekend. They're erasing him from the map. That must have been where the Boosh calls came from. Snoopy going toe-to-toe with Allied and Kiki. Kiki to fall to Boosh as well. Double kill coming out for him.
Triple
kill for Boosh. Boosh looking for the Quadra. Jeremy gonna fall as well.
Quadra kill!
Quadra kill! No more members of the team available to kill. And that will be the game, ladies and gentlemen. Boosh picking up the quad at the end there. Happy fantasy owners around the world rejoice that they did draft the Boosh, and Cognitive Red will take down Snipe in convincing fashion there. Took him 29.5 minutes to do it, basically, but this one felt like it was all in Boosh's hands from about, well, I'm sorry, Boosh, Cognitive Red and Boosh, in their hands from about the 8-minute mark onward.
Boosh! He's able to get that Quadra kill at the end, doing so much damage. In fact, look at the damage numbers up on your screen. It's going to be 16,000 damage dealt by the Boosh. It's going to be far and away the most in the game here. Closely behind is going to be Allied and Snoopy on that Hunter role. Of course, they got a lot of time to poke. Gars owners across the world very happy as well. 6-0 and 10 with 14.5k damage dealt. 0-0 and 13 for Ionic. That's probably one of the most perfect support scores you're ever going to see. 0 kills, 0 deaths, and a ton of assists, plus a ton of damage dealt and wards purchased here. Wicked 0-4 and 3, 0-4 and 4 on Kiki. So not able to get that whole right side of the map activated for Snipe. But man, I really want to see that play again. I mean, Boosh able to play.
You
so
just
well.
saw it, but let's run it back. Even though it's a play at the end of the game, let's just watch it again. Just see how he picked up these 4 kills.
So amazing, such wow, much Boosh,
much Dragon. Yeah. Well, the first, key here that it's going to be a.
Just watch Kiki die to the tornado.
Yes. So
it's amazing.
Divios goes down. Boosh just tosses out the ultimate on the back of that Mercury ultimate, and there's a quick 1,400 damage onto Weekend. And this is where, now Kiki takes the tornado.
It's just tornado.
Chunk. Down he goes. You'll get the squall there onto Allied. Actually, a base attack pick up Allied. And it's going to be one more tornado and an in-hand to kill Jeremy. Even in the midst of 700 damage crits, still finds a way to pick up that kill. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will conclude our coverage for the North American Smite Pro League week number 2, day number 2 here over on North America. Let's take a look at the updated standings after the end of the day. Taking it over to Europe here. Let's see what we got. I assume I need to be over here for when Denton comes and raises the roof.
Denton!
With the
Denton's slacking, man.
Wait. Okay, we're transiting. Ah!
There he is.
How lovely there. Cognitive Prime in red. The Cog Boys leading the charge in North America at 4-1. Snipe at 3-2. I'm sorry. Securing their third place spot. Thirst at 1-2. And the Chunks and Dignitas both slipping to 1-4. Tied for, well, the 5th, 6th place position. Back over in Europe, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at their standings after the end of the day here. Denton, if you would be so kind, my friend.
Denton
wiped away by the powers that be, and coming back, holding the European standings, where Mortality sitting at 4-1, taking their first loss today. TSM moving up to 2-3, but Cloud9 and SK tied for 2nd, 3rd at 3-2. Solo Mid in the 4th place position, 5th for Exposed Secrets, and Coast sitting in a 6th place spot there. And that actually will, ladies and gentlemen, conclude our coverage for the Pro League for today. We'll be back here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our pregame show for the European games tomorrow. Following that, you will have the patch notes. And following that, you will have the North American game. So a lot of great content tomorrow, guys. Don't go, well, hey, go somewhere, I guess. But there's more great Smite content for you. F.dot coming up next, guys. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow. For Dry Bear, I'm hi-rez Bart. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you.